my passionate and loyal Scorpio friend. Hello and welcome. My name is Mina, and I'm here to offer you a 3-card reading exploring the themes of you, your path, and your potential. I invite you to consider what the reading reveals about possible challenges, opportunities, and personal growth for the week ahead. Take a deep breath, rest your mind, and let's see what the cards have to share with you today. A Scorpio this week arrives quietly, carrying a subtle weight. There's a sense you've been holding your breath even if your face remains calm. Underneath a knot tightens, one that won't easily loosen just because you wish it. Maybe you're noticing how the world's small demands stack up, each one asking for a little more of you. Maybe you sense an urge to pull the world closer, to keep what matters firmly within your grasp. If you pause for a moment, you might feel the low hum of worry. What if you let go even for a second? What if something slips away? This is not a fear that shouts. It whispers, asking you to pay attention to what you're holding and why. There's a longing for safety, for the comfort of knowing you're protected from sudden change. Yet beneath that need, a quieter, deeper voice wonders what it costs to stay guarded. This week, your inner landscape is shaped by the 4 of Pentacles. It's as if you have one hand on your heart and the other on the door, hesitant to open up but unwilling to turn away. You might find yourself clinging a little tighter to routines, plans, or even possessions. There's a desire to create barriers, to draw lines around what is yours. You notice, perhaps, how this makes you feel solid for a moment, anchored in a world that sometimes feels unpredictable. But even as you hold on, questions flicker in the background. Are you protecting what truly matters, or are you simply afraid of what might happen if you don't? There's a comfort in boundaries, yet they can become walls, keeping out not just the chaos but connection and possibility as well. This inner posture isn't about greed or stubbornness. It's about the need to feel secure when the ground feels uncertain. The world has taught you to guard your energy, to be careful about what and whom you let in. Sometimes, though, the very act of holding on tight can make your world smaller. You may feel the tension between wanting to be open and fearing what vulnerability could bring. It's a week where you might catch yourself hesitating before sharing a thought or declining an invitation because it feels safer to stay in familiar territory. Even in small ways, you sense the difference between comfort and constraint. And while the urge to protect yourself is understandable, you're also aware of the gentle ache that comes from being a little too careful for a little too long. The need to feel secure sets the stage for everything else. When you protect yourself so fiercely, it shapes how you walk through your days. You notice the world not as it is, but through the lens of what you might lose. This perspective brings caution, a slow, deliberate way of moving, but it also creates ripples. The choices you make from this place begin to define your path, influencing what comes next and what possibilities you're willing to consider. As the week unfolds, the energy of the 10 of Pentacles enters your path. Here, life begins to respond to your desire for certainty and comfort. Routines and structures take center stage. The people around you, family, friends, colleagues, may look to you for stability or even guidance. There's a sense of being woven into a larger web where your actions matter not just for yourself, but for others. You might feel the invisible pull of responsibility, the way tradition and legacy shape your choices. The pressure here isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the soft, persistent expectation that you'll keep everything in order, that you'll hold things together even when you feel stretched. Momentum builds. The familiar calls out, asking you to double down on what works. Perhaps you feel the friction of expectations, your own and those handed down to you. There's pride in what you've built, in the relationships and comforts you've gathered over time. Yet within that pride there's also a tug. Is this all there is? The world offers you a map drawn by past decisions, by family, by society. But every map has its edges. As you walk this path, you become more aware of what's at stake when you choose safety over risk, tradition over newness. The week may ask you to navigate moments where your need for security bumps up against opportunities for growth. You may feel caught between honoring the past and making space for the future. Sometimes the pressure feels like a gentle hand on your shoulder, reminding you of your role in the lives of others. Other times it's the weight of knowing that change could disrupt what you've worked so hard to maintain. Yet even here there's an invitation, not to abandon what matters, but to look honestly at the cost of carrying it all alone. The friction is real, but it's also the sign of life moving, asking for your attention. What do you want to keep and what is it time to release? The potential of this week is not set in stone. It rests on whether you meet these moments with awareness, on your willingness to notice both the comfort and the limitation in clinging to what you know. The space between holding on and letting go is where your growth quietly waits. If you can engage with this tension rather than avoid it, something new can unfold. Not by force, but by gentle recognition of what your heart truly needs. The Nine of Pentacles appears as your potential, shimmering at the edge of your awareness. It feels like a breath let out after a long, careful inhale. Here, there's a sense of ease, a quiet confidence that doesn't depend on approval or external markers. This is not the confidence of bravado, but the kind that comes from knowing your own worth, from standing in your space fully, without apology. The possibility here isn't about abandoning what you've built, but about finding satisfaction within it. There's an invitation to enjoy what you have, to recognize the abundance in small moments, and to allow yourself to feel proud without fear of what might be lost. This potential does not ask you to give up your boundaries. Instead, it asks you to trust them, to trust yourself enough to open the door a little wider. When you stop gripping so tightly, you notice pleasures and strengths you may have overlooked. You begin to see that security isn't only about what you can hold on to, but also about what you're willing to let flow through your life. The reward is subtle, a sense of peace that grows quietly, rooted in your own choices. There's no need to prove anything, no need to guard yourself against every imagined loss. The world feels softer, more generous when you let yourself simply be present, noticing what is good and letting that be enough. All three cards woven together reflect a journey that begins with the ache for safety and moves through the reality of responsibility and connection, arriving, if you choose, at a place of quiet self-trust. The Four of Pentacles recognizes the understandable impulse to protect your heart and your resources. The Ten of Pentacles reveals how this impulse shapes your environment, creating patterns that support you but can also hem you in. The Nine of Pentacles, finally, suggests the possibility of finding contentment not by holding on harder, but by recognizing what you've already cultivated and allowing yourself to rest in that knowledge. This is not a week of dramatic change, but of gentle shifts, small moments where you notice your own grip, and consider, just for a heartbeat, what it would feel like to loosen it. There is reassurance in knowing you don't have to choose between safety and fulfillment. You can honor your need for protection while still allowing yourself the pleasure of openness, the joy of being present with what is right now. By the week's end, you may find that the tension you carried in your chest has softened, replaced by a quieter, deeper confidence. You have not lost anything. You have simply allowed yourself to breathe. Actionable insights for Scorpio this week. Try sitting with a feeling of enoughness, even if it's just for a few moments. Notice which routines feel comforting and which feel confining without needing to change anything right away. Let yourself enjoy a small pleasure simply because it brings you ease. Spoken word affirmations to repeat aloud for a more positive mindset. I acknowledge what I'm holding close. I notice where I feel at ease. I am safe in my own company. I let my strengths speak for themselves. I trust myself more with every breath. And now, dear friend, I thank you for giving me your time. I truly hope I have given you something helpful in return. Goodbye and good luck until next time.